The stars looked different from Mars. John Martinez stood on the red soil looking up at the night sky through his helmet visor. After 3 months alone at the research station, he had memorized every visible star. That's why the blinking light caught his attention right away. It wasn't a star. It moved too deliberately. Not a satellite either. It was too far out. John checked his equipment again. The radio receiver was picking up something strange. Patterns. Repeated sequences that couldn't be natural. "Base to Houston, I'm detecting an unusual signal," John said into his comm. "Sending you the data now." The reply came after the expected delay. "Houston to base received. Probably just interference. Continue your scheduled research." John frowned. That dismissal felt too quick. He copied the signal data to his private files. Something wasn't right, and he intended to find out what when he returned to Earth. 2 months later, John's capsule splashed down in the Pacific Ocean. After medical checks and debriefing, he finally got home to his small apartment in Arizona. The signal data remained on his secure drive untouched since Mars. That evening, he called the one person he trusted completely. Kate Simmons arrived an hour later. They had trained together at NASA for years before John got selected for the Mars mission. Kate had more technical knowledge than anyone John knew. "So you think you found aliens?" Kate asked with a smirk as she set up her laptop. John handed her a cup of coffee. "I think I found something NASA doesn't want to talk about. That's not the same thing." Kate took the drive and plugged it in. "Let's see what you got." They worked through the night. Kate ran the signal through dozens of filters and analysis programs. Near dawn, her computer beeped. "John, this isn't random, look." The screen showed a complex pattern that repeated exactly every 127 seconds. Within that pattern were smaller sequences. "It's a message," Kate whispered, "and it's definitely not from Earth." Over the next week, they worked in secret to decode the transmission. Kate created a program that searched for mathematical constants that might serve as a translation key. On the 8th day, they had their breakthrough. "It's a distress call," Kate said, her voice shaking as she read the partially translated message. "From someone called the Andraxians. They're asking for help against an empire? An emperor named Zax Kavorn." John stared at the screen. "They're specifically mentioning Earth. They've been watching us." The message described a vast galactic empire that had conquered thousands of worlds. The Andraxians had formed a rebellion but were losing badly. They believed humans possessed unique qualities that could help them fight back. "We need to tell someone," John said. "Who?" Kate asked. "NASA ignored this. The government might panic. We need to be careful." Next morning, someone knocked on John's door. He opened it to find a woman in a dark suit. She had short blonde hair and intense eyes. "John Martinez?" "I'm Agent Lisa Franklin. We need to talk about the signal you found on Mars." John tried to close the door, but Lisa put her hand out. "I'm not here to stop you. I'm here because you're right and we need your help." He let her in cautiously. Kate emerged from the kitchen, equally suspicious. Lisa sat down and placed her badge on the table. It showed an agency name neither of them recognized. "I work for a department that has existed in secret since 1947, Lisa explained. "We've known about alien civilizations for decades. The signal you found wasn't the first contact. It was just the first one that got through our normal filters." John and Kate exchanged glances. "Why keep it secret?" John asked. "Because humanity has been deliberately isolated from the galactic community," Lisa said. "And that isolation has protected us." She pulled out a tablet and showed them images of strange ships and creatures that looked nothing like humans. "Emperor Zax Kavorn has ruled the known galaxy for over 1,000 years. His empire spans millions of stars. They have technology we can barely imagine. But do you know what terrifies him more than anything?" Lisa paused. "Humans." Kate laughed, in disbelief. "Us? We haven't even established a permanent base on Mars." "It's not about our technology," Lisa explained. "It's about our nature. Most advanced species evolved in stable environments. Their development followed predictable patterns. Humans evolved in chaos, constantly adapting to changing conditions. We're unpredictable, and that makes us dangerous. To a ruler who controls everything through order and prediction. The room fell silent as John and Kate absorbed this information. The Andraxians have been watching Earth for centuries, Lisa continued. They believe humans might be the key to defeating the Emperor. That's why they risked sending a signal directly to your Mars station. Why tell us now? John asked. Because they're coming, Lisa said grimly. A small rebel ship will enter our solar system in 3 days. They want to make official contact with humans, but outside regular channels. If the Emperor discovers they've approached Earth, he might decide we're too dangerous to leave alone anymore. John stood up and walked to the window. The ordinary street outside felt suddenly small. So what do we do? We have a choice, Lisa said. Ignore the message and hope the Emperor continues to leave us alone. Or help the rebellion and potentially bring the war to Earth, Kate finished. Lisa nodded. I've been authorized to form a small team to make contact with the rebels. Off the books. If things go badly, my agency will deny everything. And you want us on this team? John asked. You found the message, John. And Kate decoded it. You two understand what we're facing better than most. Plus, you're both trained for space operations. We need people like you. Kate walked over to stand beside John. What happens if we say no? Lisa's expression hardened slightly. Then I ensure this conversation never happened. The signal gets classified. You both get reassigned to Earth-based projects for the rest of your careers. John looked at the night sky through his window. Somewhere out there, an alien tyrant ruled countless worlds. And for some reason, the Resistance believed humanity could help. When do we leave? He asked. Pack what you need tonight, Lisa said. A private plane will pick us up tomorrow. We're going to a facility in Alaska where we can communicate with the incoming ship without being detected. As Lisa stood to leave, she paused at the door. I should warn you both. Once you step into this, there's no going back. The galaxy you're about to enter isn't like the hopeful science fiction stories. It's dangerous, complex, and frightening. So is history, Kate replied, but people still changed it. After Lisa left, John and Kate sat in silence for a long time. Do you believe her? Kate finally asked. John looked at the decoded message on Kate's laptop. I believe something found us. Whether it's exactly what she says or not, I think we need to find out. This could be first contact, John, real aliens. Or it could be a trap, he said. Either way, I'd rather be involved than watching from the sidelines. Kate nodded. Then we pack. As the night grew darker, John Martinez and Kate Simmons prepared to become the first official human representatives to an intergalactic rebellion. Neither knew what waited for them beyond Earth's atmosphere, but both understood that humanity's place in the universe was about to change forever. 6 months passed like a blur. John Martinez looked out the window of the small spaceship as it approached what looked like a floating rock in the darkness beyond Pluto. The rebels called it Outpost Sirius, hidden in the Kuiper Belt far from Earth's monitoring systems. Still can't believe we're doing this, Kate Simmons said, floating up beside him in the zero gravity. Lisa Franklin checked her equipment one last time. Remember the plan. We're here to learn, not to promise anything. Earth governments still don't officially know about this meeting. Their ship docked with a soft bump. The airlock hissed as it opened, revealing a tall, slender figure. The alien had pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer slightly. Its eyes were large and completely black without any visible pupils. Welcome to Outpost Sirius, the alien said in perfect English. I am Commander Krell of the Andraxian Liberation Front. John stepped forward. John Martinez of Earth. This is Kate Simmons and Lisa Franklin. Krell bowed slightly. You are the first humans to officially meet with us. This is a historic moment for both our peoples. The humans followed Krell through curved hallways that seemed to be made of some kind of living metal. The walls pulsed gently with soft light. Our outpost houses representatives from 17 different species, Krell explained. All united against Emperor Zaxkavorn. They entered a large round room where several strange creatures sat around a table. Some looked almost human while others were completely different. One appeared to be made of swirling gas inside a mechanical suit. "These are our War Council members," Krell said. Not everyone was happy about inviting humans to join us. A reptilian creature with red scales stood up. "These humans have barely left their own planet. How can they help against the Emperor's forces?" "General Vex has concerns," Krell said calmly. "Perhaps you can explain why we should trust Earth, Agent Franklin?" Lisa stepped forward. "We don't ask for your trust. We haven't earned it yet, but we offer something the Emperor doesn't expect: unpredictability." "Explain," said a small, gray creature with 4 arms. "From what we understand, most advanced species evolved in stable environments," Lisa said. "Your development followed clear patterns. Humans evolved in chaos, constantly adapting to changing conditions." Kate added, "We're not the strongest or the smartest, but we think differently. We find solutions where others see no options." The reptilian general hissed. "Pretty words, but no proof." John looked around the room. "Then test us. Give us a problem your people haven't solved." Commander Krell nodded slowly. "Perhaps we should show them the captured Imperial ship first." They followed Krell to another section of the outpost. Through a large window, they saw a sleek black ship that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "We captured this scout ship 3 months ago," Krell explained. "But we cannot access its navigation systems or weapons. The technology self-destructs when we attempt to interface with it." Kate studied the ship. "Has anyone tried not using technology to access it?" "Explain," said Krell. "Instead of using your computers to hack it, what about just watching how it works? Old-fashioned observation." The aliens looked at each other in confusion. Back on Earth, engineer Doug Williams examined the strange piece of metal in his workshop. Lisa had recruited him to the secret program a month ago. He had no space training, but he understood how things worked. The object was supposedly part of an alien engine. It was lighter than it should be and seemed to vibrate slightly when he touched it. "This makes no sense," Doug muttered. He connected it to a battery just to see what would happen. The metal glowed and began to hover above the table. "Well, that's different," he said, reaching for his notebook. In another part of the facility, psychologist Amy Nelson sat across from a hologram of an Andraxian. She was trying to understand alien psychology. "So your species doesn't understand the concept of hope?" Amy asked. "We understand probability and favorable outcomes," the Andraxian replied. "But continuing to believe in success when evidence suggests failure is peculiar to humans," Amy smiled. "Sometimes hoping against the odds is all we have." At the outpost, John and Kate spent weeks learning about the rebellion. They discovered the Empire had ruled for thousands of years, crushing any resistance with overwhelming force. "The Emperor has superior numbers, technology, and resources," Krell explained. "We have only survived because we hide and strike quickly." "Guerrilla warfare," John said. "We have experience with that on Earth. Your military history is unusual," Krell admitted. "Most species develop weapons in predictable patterns. Humans seem to create chaos and then thrive in it." One day, alarms blared throughout the outpost. Kate ran to the command center where Krell was issuing orders. "Imperial patrol ships," Krell said, looking at the screens. 3 of them headed directly for us. "They found us?" Kate asked. "Impossible to know if it's random patrol or targeted search," Krell replied. "Either way, we must evacuate." John studied the tactical display. "Wait, those ships are following a standard search pattern. I saw it in your historical data." "Yes, standard Imperial protocol," said the reptilian general. "We have no time to discuss this." "But that's the point," John insisted. "They always follow the same patterns, which means we can predict them." Kate understood immediately. "If we know where they'll be, we can avoid them completely. Or better yet," John said, "we can make them think they found something else." Crow. General looked skeptical. "What do you propose? We have that damaged probe, right? The one you were going to scrap?" John asked. "Let's send it out with a modified signature. Make them chase it while we slip away in the opposite direction." Commander Krell considered this. "It could work, but someone would need to stay behind to launch the probe at exactly the right moment. "I'll do it," John said. Kate grabbed his arm. "Not alone." An hour later, the outpost was evacuated except for John and Kate. They watched the Imperial ships approach on the scanner. "Ready?" John asked. Kate nodded and launched the probe. It sped away from the outpost, emitting a false signal that mimicked a rebel ship. As expected, the Imperial ships immediately changed course to pursue it. "It worked," Kate said. "They're completely ignoring us." They boarded the last escape shuttle and followed the rebel fleet away from the outpost. When they docked with the main rebel ship, Commander Krell was waiting. "That was unexpected," Krell said. "No one has successfully tricked an Imperial patrol like that before." The reptilian general approached. "Perhaps there is something to these humans after all." Word of the successful escape spread through the rebel fleet. The humans who had been viewed with suspicion were now treated with cautious respect. That evening, Commander Krell called them to a private meeting. "We have been debating a mission of great importance," Krell said. "The Empire controls all major communication networks. The people of most worlds hear only what the Emperor wants them to hear." "You want to break that control," Lisa said. "Yes, we have located an Imperial communications hub. If we could access it, we could broadcast the truth about the rebellion to billions of beings. But it's heavily guarded," John guessed. "Indeed. Previous attempts have failed. But your approach today, thinking differently, perhaps humans, are exactly what we need." Kate looked at John and Lisa. "So what's the plan?" "We want you to help us infiltrate the communications hub," Krell said. "Not just as soldiers, but as planners. We need human unpredictability." John nodded slowly. "When do we start?" "Tomorrow," Krell said. "Because whether we succeed or fail, one thing is certain. After this mission, the galaxy will know that humans have joined the rebellion." The communications hub floated in space like a giant metal flower. Its petals were massive satellite dishes pointed in all directions. John, Kate, and a team of 6 aliens approached in a small ship disguised as an Imperial supply vessel. "Remember the plan," John said. "We get in, Amy broadcasts her message, and we get out. 20 minutes maximum." Kate checked her stolen Imperial uniform. It felt stiff and uncomfortable. "Let's hope these disguises work." The rebel ship docked with the hub. When the airlock opened, 2 Imperial guards waited. They were tall with gray skin and 4 eyes. "Identification," one guard demanded. Lisa stepped forward and handed over a data chip. "Supply delivery from Sector 9. The guard inserted the chip into a reader. John held his breath. Doug Williams had created the fake credentials back on Earth. If they failed now, the mission was over before it started. The reader beeped green. "Proceed to supply level 3, the guard said. Once inside, the team split up. John, Kate, and Amy Nelson headed for the main broadcast center. Lisa and the aliens went to secure their escape route. "This is too easy," Kate whispered as they walked through the empty corridors. "The Empire relies on fear, not security," John said. "They don't expect anyone to be brave enough to attack them directly." They reached the broadcast center door. A single guard stood outside. Amy stepped forward with a tray of food. "Meal delivery," she said. When the guard looked down, John moved quickly, pressing a small device against the guard's neck. The guard collapsed silently. "Doug's stunner works," John said, looking impressed. Inside the broadcast center, 3 technicians worked at control panels. They looked up in surprise when the door opened. "Who authorized?" one began, but Kate was already moving. 3 quick shots from her stunner, and the technicians slumped in their chairs. "We have 5 minutes before someone notices something wrong," Kate said. Amy sat at the main console. On Earth, she had studied the broadcast systems with help from the Andraxians. Now she moved quickly, bypassing security protocols and accessing the main channel. "I'm in," she said. "Broadcasting in 3, 2, 1. Amy's face appeared on screens across thousands of worlds. She spoke clearly and simply. "People of the galaxy, my name is Amy Nelson. I am a human from planet Earth. For too long, Emperor Zax Kavorn has told you that resistance is futile, that hope is pointless. He is wrong. The rebellion grows stronger every day. Worlds are joining us, and now humanity stands with you. We may be new to this fight, but we bring something the Emperor cannot defeat: hope in the face of overwhelming odds. Look to the stars. Help is coming. You are not alone. The message repeated in dozens of languages. John watched the console as it showed the broadcast reaching more and more systems. Time to go, Kate said after 2 minutes. They ran back to the ship, meeting Lisa and the others along the way. As they reached the docking bay, alarms began blaring throughout the station. They've discovered us, Lisa said. Guards appeared at the far end of the bay, firing energy weapons. The team ducked behind cargo containers. We need a distraction, John said. Kate pulled out a small device Doug had given her. Will this work? What is it? Doug called it a chaotic pulse generator. Said it would disrupt their systems temporarily. John nodded. Do it. Kate activated the device and threw it toward the guards. It exploded in a flash of blue light. All the electronic systems in the area went dead, including the guards' weapons. Now, John shouted. They ran to their ship and took off, racing away from the hub as Imperial fighters scrambled to pursue them. Jumped to hyperspace in 3, 2, 1. The pilot hit the controls, and the stars stretched into lines around them. Back on Earth, President Ellen Rodriguez watched Amy's broadcast with her advisors in the White House Situation Room. So now the whole galaxy knows about us, she said. Defense Secretary Clark nodded. And the Emperor knows too. Intel suggests he's already sent scout ships to our solar system. What are our options? Limited. Our technology is far behind theirs. But we have Doug Williams's innovations. They're unconventional but effective. The president stood up. Then it's time to tell the world. I'll address the United Nations tomorrow. Humanity needs to unite like never before. On the Imperial throne world of Kavoria, Emperor Zax Kavorn watched the human broadcast with cold fury. He was tall and thin with pale skin that seemed almost translucent. His eyes were deep red. Humans, he hissed, after all our efforts to isolate them. His advisor bowed nervously. The broadcast has already caused uprisings on 7 worlds, Your Majesty, and 17 previously neutral systems have contacted the rebels. Send General Drav Koros to Earth immediately. Make them an offer they cannot refuse. Join us, or be destroyed. The Emperor turned to stare at a hologram of Earth, rotating slowly. These humans, they create chaos wherever they go. At the rebel base hidden in an asteroid field, Commander Krell welcomed back the broadcast team. The mood was celebratory. Amy's message has changed everything, Krell said. You've given the galaxy something it had forgotten: hope. What happens now? John asked. Now the real war begins, Krell replied. The Emperor will strike back hard. He'll target Earth first. As if on cue, a communication came through from Earth. It was Doug Williams. We've detected Imperial ships entering our system, Doug said. At least 20 of them. They'll reach Earth in 3 days. John looked at Kate and Lisa. We need to get home now. Commander Krell nodded. Take our fastest ship. We'll follow with reinforcements. As they prepared to leave, General Vex approached them. The reptilian rebel had been skeptical of humans from the start. Perhaps I was wrong about your species, Vex said. Your actions at the hub were unpredictable. The guards followed protocol perfectly, but you still succeeded. That's what humans do, Kate said. We find a way, even when the odds say we can't. Their ship departed an hour later, racing toward Earth. During the journey, John received reports about what was happening at home. World governments had united quickly after learning of the alien threat. Doug's hybrid technology was being mass-produced for Earth's defense. Earth is preparing for war, John told Kate as they looked out at the stars streaking past. Everything is changing so fast. That's our advantage, Kate replied. We adapt quickly. The Emperor has ruled for thousands of years without serious challenge. He doesn't know how to handle rapid change. When they reached Earth, they found a planet transformed. Military bases buzzed with activity. New defense satellites orbited above. President Rodriguez herself met them at a secret facility in the Rocky Mountains. "Welcome home," she said. "We have 3 days before the Imperial fleet arrives. We need everything you've learned about their tactics and technology." John nodded. "We'll tell you everything. But there's something you should know. The Emperor has sent his top general Dravkoros to attack us." "No," John said, "to give us a choice. Join the Empire willingly, or be destroyed." President Rodriguez's expression hardened. "Then we better be ready to show them that humans don't respond well to threats." 1 year had passed since the Imperial fleet arrived at Earth. The battle had been fierce but brief. No one expected Earth to win its first interstellar war, certainly not the Emperor. But when they did, through tactics that made no sense to Imperial commanders. Now Ryan Cooper stood on the bridge of the Earthship Defiance. Once a simple soldier in the U.S. Army, he now commanded a fleet of hybrid vessels, part human technology, part alien. "Status report," Ryan said. His second in command, a young woman named Olivia Park, checked her screens. "Imperial forces retreating in sectors 4 and 7. The Andraxian fleet is pursuing." Ryan nodded. "Tell them not to follow too far. It could be a trap." The rebellion had changed dramatically in the past year. Humans were now key leaders, bringing unpredictable strategies that confused and frustrated Imperial forces. Back on Earth, Beth Martinez worked in what had once been a normal engineering lab. Now it was filled with alien technology. As John's sister, she had been recruited early to study the strange devices. "The shield modifications are ready," Beth told Doug Williams. They had become a formidable team. Doug's intuitive understanding of alien tech combined with Beth's practical engineering skills had produced weapons and defenses that even the Empire couldn't counter. "Will it work against their new plasma cannons?" Doug asked. Beth smiled. "It'll do more than work. It'll reflect the energy back at them." In orbit around Europa, a human colony had grown quickly. Protected by advanced shields, it served as a forward base for the rebellion. But today, the colony faced danger. Captain Samantha Wright received the alert in her quarters. "Imperial ships approaching, Captain. At least 15 heavy cruisers." She rushed to the command center. "Evacuate all civilians to the shelters. Deploy defense fleet in Pattern Zulu." Pattern Zulu was one of Ryan Cooper's creations, a seemingly random arrangement that actually concealed a deadly trap. The ships would appear vulnerable, drawing the Imperial forces into a carefully planned crossfire. The Imperial ships arrived, massive and threatening. Their commander sent a message: "Surrender the human specimens for study or be destroyed." No response, Samantha ordered. "Let them come closer." The trap worked perfectly. When the Imperial ships moved into position, the human fleet attacked, from multiple directions at once. The battle was short but intense. Afterward, as they secured Imperial vessels for study, Samantha's team made a disturbing discovery. "Captain, you need to see this," her science officer said. Inside the Imperial science ship were containers filled with biological agents. Each was labeled with human DNA markers. "They've been developing weapons specifically to target humans," the science officer explained. "This one attacks our nervous system. This one targets our immune response." Samantha's face hardened. "Get all of this to Earth immediately, and prepare a team to board the other captured ships. We need to know everything they're planning." On Ebir, the Imperial capital world, General Dravkoros knelt before Emperor Zax Kavorn. The general was tall like all Imperials, but with distinctive blue markings on his gray skin. "The Europa attack failed, Your Majesty," he reported. "Another failure," the Emperor said coldly. "Perhaps I need a new general." "The humans continue to defy prediction models," Dravkoros said. "Their battle patterns show no logical structure, yet they coordinate perfectly." "Excuses," the Emperor dismissed. "These creatures barely mastered space travel. They cannot be superior to an empire that has ruled for millennia." "Not superior, Your Majesty. Different. They think in ways we do." The Emperor waved his hand dismissively. Return to your fleet. I want Earth isolated and cut off from the rebellion within 30 days. Fail me again, and your life is forfeit. As Dravkoros left the throne room, his mind was troubled. In his long military career, he had conquered dozens of worlds. None had resisted like Earth, and none had shown the mercy humans sometimes displayed, taking prisoners instead of killing them, treating the wounded regardless of side. These acts made no sense to imperial military doctrine. Victory was all that mattered. Yet somehow the humans were winning by breaking all the rules of war. Back on Earth, Lisa Franklin prepared for her most dangerous mission yet. She had spent months learning to speak and move like an imperial traitor. Now she would infiltrate the Emperor's inner circle. The disguise is perfect, John told her as they reviewed the plan one last time. But the risk is extreme. We need someone close to the Emperor, Lisa said. The rebels believe he has access to technology that lets him predict our movements. That's why we need a human there, someone he can't predict. Just stay alive, Kate added, hugging her friend. We'll be monitoring your tracking signal. Lisa's mission began with a commercial transport to an imperial trading hub. From there, she slowly worked her way up, making connections and building her cover story. Her goal was to reach Kavoria, the imperial throne world. 3 months later, she sent her first secure transmission from the imperial palace itself. I've confirmed it, she reported. The Emperor has ancient technology that shows him probable futures. But there's something else. When humans are involved, the predictions become clouded. We create blind spots in his visions. John shared this information with Commander Krell and the rebel leadership. This changes everything, Krell said. If we can exploit these blind spots, we can plan an assault on Kavoria itself, General Vex finished. While the rebels planned, General Dravkoros made a decision that would change the course of the war. After witnessing yet another human victory, this time saving an imperial colony from a natural disaster even as they fought imperial forces, he contacted the rebellion secretly. I wish to defect, he told the stunned rebel commander. The Empire is wrong. The Emperor is wrong. This was unprecedented. No imperial general had ever betrayed the Emperor. The rebellion leaders were suspicious, but John suggested a meeting. If he's genuine, his knowledge could be invaluable, John argued. The meeting took place on a neutral moon. Dravkoros came alone, unarmed. Why should we trust you? John asked directly. Because I have seen what the Emperor refuses to see, Dravkoros replied. Your species fights not just for yourselves, but for others. You risk your lives to save even your enemies. This is strength, not weakness as the Emperor believes. And you're willing to help us defeat him? I will help you end his tyranny, Dravkoros corrected. The Empire need not fall. It can be transformed. The general provided crucial information, the location of the Empire's main fleet, the defenses of Kavoria, and most importantly, details about the Emperor's prediction technology. Armed with this knowledge, the rebellion planned its most daring assault yet, a direct attack on Kavoria. The plan had 2 parts, a massive space battle to engage the Imperial fleet, and a small infiltration team to disable the Emperor's prediction technology. John volunteered immediately for the infiltration team. Kate and General Vex would join him. Lisa, already in place, would guide them once they reached the palace. As the rebel fleet prepared for battle, Doug and Beth worked day and night to create new weapons for the infiltration team. Amy recorded messages of hope to be broadcast across the Empire during the attack. The night before the assault began, John stood alone watching Earth from orbit. So much had changed in such a short time. Humanity had gone from isolation to leading an interstellar rebellion. Nervous? Kate asked, joining him. Terrified, John admitted. If we fail tomorrow, we won't, Kate said firmly. The Emperor has spent thousands of years ruling through fear and control. He doesn't understand what happens when people fight for freedom instead of survival. Tomorrow we end this, John said. One way or another. The rebel fleet emerged from hyperspace above Kavoria. Hundreds of ships led by Ryan Cooper on the Defiance faced the massive Imperial armada. The space above the gleaming throne world erupted in flashes of energy and explosions. While the battle raged, a small stealth ship slipped past the fighting. Inside, John, Kate, and General Vex prepared for their mission. Lisa's signal is coming from the north tower of the palace, Kate said, checking her scanner. Guards are concentrated at the main entrances. Then we use the maintenance tunnels, John replied. According to Dravkoros, they lead directly into the lower levels. Their ship landed in a remote area outside the capital city. Disguised as maintenance workers, the team made their way to the tunnel entrance. General Vex used the access codes provided by Dravkoros to bypass security. The Emperor's prediction technology is housed 3 levels below the throne room, Vex said as they moved through the dark tunnels. It's called the Oracle Chamber. Meanwhile, in orbit, the battle intensified. Ryan Cooper's unconventional tactics confused the Imperial fleet. Ships moved in patterns no Imperial commander could predict, striking from unexpected angles. They're trying to surround us, Olivia Park warned. Ryan smiled. Good. That's exactly what we want. He gave the order, and the rebel fleet suddenly scattered in all directions. The Imperial ships tried to follow, breaking their tight formations. At that moment, a second rebel fleet emerged from hyperspace directly behind them. The trap was sprung. Imperial ships found themselves caught between 2 forces. The battle turned in favor of the rebellion. Inside the palace, John's team reached the service elevator that would take them to the Oracle Chamber. 2 guards stood watch. I'll handle this, General Vex said. He stepped into view and spoke in the Imperial language. The guards looked confused for a moment, then raised their weapons. Kate moved fast, firing 2 quick shots from her stunner. The guards dropped silently. So much for talking our way in, John said. The Emperor has declared me a traitor, Vex explained. My codes still work, but my face is known. They took the elevator down to the lower levels. Lisa Franklin was waiting for them in a maintenance room. The Oracle Chamber is heavily guarded, she told them. 6 elite soldiers with energy shields. Can we bypass them? Kate asked. Lisa handed them small devices. These are Imperial security badges. Doug made them. They should get us through the first checkpoint. The team moved carefully through the halls. Palace staff paid little attention to maintenance workers. The badges worked at the checkpoint, but as they approached the final door to the Oracle Chamber, an alarm suddenly blared. They know we're here, John said. Guards appeared at both ends of the corridor. The team ducked into a side room as energy blasts hit the wall behind them. We need a distraction, Kate said. General Vex pulled out a small explosive. This should keep them busy. You 3 get to the chamber. We're not leaving you, John argued. This is why I joined your rebellion, Vex said. You care about individuals. The Emperor does not. Now go. Complete the mission. Before they could argue further, Vex slipped out the door. Moments later, an explosion rocked the far end of the corridor. Guards rushed toward it. John, Kate, and Lisa ran for the Oracle Chamber. Inside, they found a massive room filled with strange, glowing technology. At its center sat a crystalline structure that pulsed with light. That's it, Lisa said, the prediction engine. They set the charges Doug had given them around the base of the crystal. As they worked, a cold voice spoke from behind them. Humans. I've been expecting you. They turned to see Emperor Zax Cavorn himself. He was tall and thin, with skin so pale, it was almost translucent. His eyes glowed red in the dim light. Your rebellion ends here, the Emperor said. Though I must admit, you've proven more troublesome than anticipated. It's over, John said. Your fleet is losing. The people are rising up across the Empire. The Emperor smiled coldly. I have ruled for thousands of years. Do you think this is the first rebellion I've crushed? But it's the first one with humans, Kate replied. Yes, humans. The Emperor walked closer. Do you know why I truly fear your kind? Not just for your unpredictability, but because you represent something dangerous. Evolution. Consciousness that thrives on change rather than stability. Hito gestured to the crystal. This oracle has guided my empire since the beginning. It shows all possible futures and except when humans are involved. You create blind spots, chaotic points where prediction fails. That's why you wanted Earth isolated, Lisa realized. Of course. Your planet was quarantined by my order. Other species were forbidden to contact you. The Emperor turned to John. But I see now that was a mistake. I should have destroyed your world centuries ago. Guards entered the chamber surrounding them. The Emperor looked at John with curious eyes. You could join me, he offered unexpectedly. Become my heir. The galaxy needs order to survive, not the chaos your kind brings. John shook his head. That's where you're wrong. True strength comes from diversity and freedom, not control. A pity, the Emperor said. Kill them. As the guards raised their weapons, an explosion shook the palace. Through the window they could see rebel ships breaking through the planet's defenses. In the confusion, John activated the detonator. The charges around the Oracle crystal began to count down. The Emperor's eyes widened in alarm. Stop them! Kate and Lisa fought off the guards while John tackled the Emperor himself. Though physically stronger, the Emperor had never faced hand-to-hand combat. He had always relied on others to fight for him. The crystal exploded in a blinding flash of light. The Oracle chamber shook violently as the prediction engine collapsed. What have you done? The Emperor gasped as the room began to fall apart. Around them. Given the galaxy its future back, John replied. Throughout the palace and across the planet, confusion spread among Imperial forces. For thousands of years, they had relied on the Emperor's perfect predictions. Now, suddenly, they had to think for themselves. John grabbed the Emperor as debris fell around them. You're coming with us. Why not kill me? The Emperor asked as they dragged him toward the exit. Because that's what you would do, Kate replied. We're better than that. Meanwhile, across the Empire, Amy's message broadcast on all channels. People of the galaxy, rise up. The Emperor's power is broken, his predictions have failed. Today we claim our freedom. Billions of beings on thousands of worlds watched their screens as humans led the Emperor himself from his palace, not as a corpse, but as a prisoner who would face justice. The battle for Kavoria ended quickly after the Oracle's destruction. Imperial forces surrendered when they saw their Emperor captured. General Dravkoros addressed the Imperial fleet. The age of tyranny is over. The Empire will become a union of free worlds. 3 months later, John and Kate stood on a balcony, on Earth, looking up at the stars. Representatives from hundreds of worlds had gathered for the signing of the new Galactic Union Charter. Did you ever imagine it would end like this? Kate asked. Not really, John admitted. I thought we'd either lose badly or win through destruction. I never thought we'd actually change the galaxy's mind. President Rodriguez joined them, looking tired but satisfied. The Council wants Earth to take a leadership role in the new union. We're not the strongest or most advanced, John said. No, the President agreed. But we taught the galaxy something important, that adaptation, cooperation, and hope are more powerful than fear and control. As night fell over Earth, ships from dozens of alien worlds lit up the sky in celebration. The Galactic Tyrant had, indeed, trembled when humans joined the rebellion. But more importantly, the galaxy itself had awakened to a new way of thinking.